Alex had always been a dreamer. Ever since he was a teenager, he carried a vision of building something meaningful, a creative project that would not only showcase his talent but also make a real difference in people's lives. He would spend hours sketching ideas, writing plans, and imagining a future where his work was recognized and appreciated. Everyone around him saw his potential, yet Alex often felt the weight of self-doubt quietly pressing on his shoulders. He knew the journey would not be easy, but his passion made him blind to the obstacles. Every day, Alex worked relentlessly. He woke up early, juggling his studies and part-time jobs, dedicating late nights to refining his skills. His friends admired his dedication, but some warned him that the path he had chosen was uncertain and full of rejection. Alex heard their advice but brushed it aside, convinced that if he just worked hard enough, his talent would speak for itself. The anticipation of submitting his first major proposal filled him with excitement. He imagined the moment when people would finally notice his work and how proud his family would feel. The day of his first big opportunity arrived. Alex had poured his heart into every detail, believing this could be the turning point. With a mixture of nervousness and hope, he sent in his application, feeling both confident and anxious at the same time. Days passed slowly, each one filled with anticipation and dreams of a positive response. Then, the message finally came. Alex opened it with trembling hands, expecting congratulations or encouragement. Instead, he found a polite but firm rejection. At first, he couldn't believe it. He reread the email multiple times, hoping to find some mistake or hidden hint of possibility. But there was none. The words hit him like a cold wave, leaving him numb and disoriented. For the first time, he questioned himself. Was he not talented enough? Was all his effort meaningless? The disappointment was overwhelming, and for a few days, he felt stuck in a fog of hopelessness. His dreams suddenly seemed distant and unreachable. The weight of failure pressed heavily on his shoulders, and the excitement he had felt just days before was replaced by frustration and sadness. Alex's friends noticed the change. Some offered words of comfort, reminding him that rejection was a normal part of any journey, while others doubted his path entirely, telling him that maybe he wasn't meant for success. The mixed reactions added to his inner turmoil. He began to isolate himself, replaying the rejection in his mind again and again. Every time he thought about the opportunity slipping away, a pang of regret and self-blame surged through him. Yet, deep down, there was a small spark that refused to die, a quiet whisper reminding him of the dreams he had not yet abandoned. The emotional intensity of this moment captured the audience's attention because it was universal. Everyone has faced rejection in some form, and seeing Alex's raw feelings allowed viewers to empathize deeply with him. The story lingered on his despair, highlighting the realism of failure, the vulnerability of putting oneself out there, and the fear of never achieving one's goals. These feelings made the audience root for Alex, wanting to see him rise above the setback. Even in the midst of discouragement, Alex's mind began to shift slightly. He noticed patterns in the feedback he had received, small clues about where he could improve. Though he didn't act immediately, the seeds of reflection were planted. This section ends with Alex at a crossroads, torn between giving up and pushing forward. The conflict sets the stage for the next part of his journey, where rejection becomes more than a barrier. It becomes the fuel for his determination and eventual transformation. After the initial shock of rejection, Alex spent several days reflecting on what had happened. At first, he allowed himself to feel the disappointment fully, giving space to the frustration, sadness, and self-doubt that had built up inside him. But slowly, he realized that staying stuck in despair would not help him reach his dreams. He began to look at the rejection not as a final verdict on his abilities, but as a signal, a lesson that pointed toward areas he could improve. This shift in perspective marked the beginning of his transformation. Alex started by analyzing the feedback he had received and identifying where his approach had fallen short. He spent hours studying successful examples, learning new techniques, and refining his skills. Each small improvement gave him a renewed sense of purpose and confidence. Even when progress seemed slow, he reminded himself that growth was a step-by-step process, and that persistence mattered more than instant results. He surrounded himself with mentors and friends who encouraged him to keep going, whose advice helped him see blind spots and inspired him to try again with better strategies. With each attempt, Alex grew stronger. He learned to embrace failure as a natural part of the journey rather than a sign of inadequacy. Late nights and early mornings became opportunities to practice, experiment, and push his limits. Gradually, his efforts began to bear fruit. He received small wins, recognition for his work, and positive responses that slowly restored his confidence. Each success reinforced his belief in himself and his vision, fueling his determination to reach even higher. Eventually, Alex submitted another major proposal, this time with improvements born from reflection, learning, and relentless effort. The response was completely different. He was accepted, and his work was recognized for its creativity and impact. The joy and relief he felt were overwhelming, but what mattered even more was the realization that his persistence had paid off. The rejection that once crushed him had, in fact, shaped him into a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of himself. The story concludes with a powerful moral: rejection is not the end of the road, but a guide that can point us toward growth and success. By facing failure head-on, learning from it, and continuing to take action, anyone can turn setbacks into stepping stones. Alex's journey leaves the audience inspired, reminding them that obstacles are not permanent barriers but opportunities to rise above challenges, believe in their potential, and chase their dreams with unwavering determination.